Well, hello, good people. Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Jobu Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. It is, of course, the bye week. We are midway through the season. Teams are beginning to start to rise and fall, and this is a good opportunity for us to catch our breath and see where we are as a team in an organization. Basically, the midpoint of the season here. We've got 9 games left to go. Figure out if you guys are excited, if you're upset, if you think we should have made some moves. It's your opportunity to be part of the channel and the show. If you are a channel member, if you go to the community tab, the link is in the description there for you guys to join us. And right now, we already have James Nooks is in the house. What's up, James? How are you doing today, man?
Good. Just enjoying this bye week. We need well deserved. I mean, we had a lot of injuries, so I think this will give us an opportunity to get healthy and get back on track. I mean, we haven't really been off track, but make that push the second half of the season.
Yeah, it really came at the right time because, it seemed like Micah Parsons was definitely one of the ones that was nicked up, who is, for the first time ever, #1 in jersey sales as a defensive player. No defensive player has ever been #1 before. So shout out to Micah Parsons and stuff. He has been an absolute positive beast. And when you start thinking about how lucky our Cowboys are to have drafted him. Remember when people were saying that, we should have gotten a cornerback or and
Yes.
things like that? Could you imagine? Or here's where it's crazy.
Patrick Surtain.
Yeah. What if the Eagles had actually taken him?
Oh, yeah. That would have been a bad day for us.
Where would our, think about this. Where would our defense be without Micah Parsons?
Nowhere near
That is the scariest thought out there to me is, and sometimes you just get lucky, and maybe if J.C. Horn had been there, maybe if Patrick Surtain had been here, the Cowboys would have taken him. Now, for me, I've always said that the defensive line is the key on football. I've always wanted to get guys like, and shout out to, daggone, I can't remember who it was, but they ended up on Twitter hitting me up because they were talking about off-ball linebackers. That Demario Davis was the #1. And I was kind of like, yeah, that was the guy I wanted to get. But I also wanted to get Calais Campbell because people don't pay attention to what the lines do. Everybody worries about, the running back, the quarterback, and things like that. But they lose the fact that the lines make all the difference in the world. Brian, what's up, Brian? How are you doing, man? Must have your mic. Unmute your mic, buddy. He's still connecting. But to be where we are after the way everything started. What's up, Miss Gibson? I feel lucky as shit. I'm not going to lie to you.
Mm-hmm.
When we lost Tyron Smith and knowing how we've been without Tyron Smith in the past, you look at that and say, oh, God, we're not going to be able to run the football. Dak's blindside is going to get beat down. We're going to put the rookie who had 16 penalties in college. Hang on, I got to grab my board here. 16 penalties in college. We lost Lyle Collins. We lost Connor Williams. It's going to just be ugly. But, quietly, and I'm actually, I've got to talk to Roz and find out what the ratings are because he's my analyst. But quietly, our offensive line has been actually gelling pretty good.
Yeah.
The spot that's been worrying me the most has been left guard. But it seems like Connor McGovern, he's not great by any stretch of the imagination, but it seems like he is slowly getting better and into that position and playing better. Tyler Smith has been incredible.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we're actually seeing, if we can actually say this, we're seeing a maturation of Kellen Moore.
Yeah.
There's game time, Brian. Because I kind of equate it like being old, okay? I used to do a lot of stupid shit. In fact, I used to be known as Crazy Mark. I guess I'm kind of crazier Mark now. But there's things that I used to do as a kid, I look back now and say, what the hell was I thinking? And I feel like because of the circumstances that we had, Kellen Moore, not having the great wide receivers, is developing better coaching and play calling and play design. Am I crazy?
No, you're right. He just got to be more consistent. I think if he can get that consistency down, I think we'll be good. We can compete with any team. But
Definitely.
that's definitely got to work on our run stop though. That's the only weakness I see on our defense right now is stopping that run. I mean, we gotta fix that.
Nick,
But
I'm going to be. I'm going to start out at 1:00. Live streaming tomorrow. I think E2 Blues coming to the house. So I'm not doing the big sub or anything like that. This is kind of a bye week for us as well. But there are some key games tomorrow, and I'm going to say that the Washington Commanders game is actually a very big game tomorrow. And I know y'all are just saying what, and I think I need to stop playing that damn song because I think it's been about 3 weeks or so we've been playing it. I think they've been winning in spite of me trying to make fun of them because they're on a 3-game win streak, and now all of a sudden they're playing the Minnesota Vikings. If they beat the Vikings and get up to be 5-4,
they're looking on a rear view,
right? Well, guess who they play the following week?
Giants or Eagles?
Eagles.
Ooh.
Yeah, and see, it's funny because the Eagles. Eagles, I love you guys. What's up, Miss Gibson? Let me shout out the ladies. Miss Gibson, how are you doing?
But don't you remember this though? You remember when the Steelers were undefeated?
Hang on, let me get the ladies real quick. Angelica Barone, because she's always. Can you see? Yes, I can see Angelica. How you doing? And who else did I miss? Okay, I got her, Miss Gibson and Angelica Barone. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, but you remember a couple years ago when the Steelers were undefeated when they were pounding their chest? Who was the first team to beat them?
Was it us? Or no,
it was Washington.
Yeah.
So they could play spoiler again. I mean, that's why I know the Eagles are happy they're undefeated, they're feeling themselves, but I always tell people it's not how you start, it's how you finish.
It's funny because I talk about the Eagles not because I'm trying to be a hater and I don't like the Eagles. I don't want to see them win and all that. But I'm trying to also be realistic too. That they're going into this whole thing blind. Oh man, this is the greatest Eagle team ever. And I'm like, I've seen some Eagle teams out there with Reggie White on that defense and everything else. You guys aren't anywhere near that. I'm not going to say that, this Cowboy team is, I've said that the defense was up there with some of the great Dallas Cowboys defense. They still have a long ways to go and a lot of season left to play. That 240 yards we gave up to the Bears kind of pumped the brakes a little bit, but they may end up being the most sacks the most sacks that the Cowboys have ever had in a season easily. So they are really good, but I'm not ready to say that they're the greatest thing in the world. And that's the thing, looking at the Eagles, you would think that that win that they had over the Bears, the win over the Texans, nobody is talking about, you guys didn't look that good against they didn't look that good to me.
No.
You're talking about David Mills. I knew nothing about David. You got Cooks and their number 2 wide receiver was out. You're supposed to be blowing those dudes away. None of the talking heads, anything negative, say, oh, the Eagles, they're 8-0 and everything. I was kind of like, yeah, but does that count? Because I remember last year when they beat the Commanders that were the Washington COVIDs.
I may be crazy when I say this, but I think somewhere, somehow, the NFC Championship is going to be Dallas and Philadelphia. I just feel it. That's going to be the NFC Championship.
It's actually possible that you have all 4 teams from the NFC East in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Which would be insane to think about. And I see there is the mailman. I see Brian. I see Clay Matthews. And I see Thomas Garrett.
What's up, mailman?
How is everybody?
I
agree. I agree with James, but I don't agree that all teams are going to make the playoffs. I could see outside chance that Chicago, that New York does, but I think it's going to be. We're going to see the Eagles the 3rd time. I got somebody coming on our live I met on Twitter, an Eagle fan. The narrative seems to be slow down, Cowboys. The Eagles are the best team in the league. Let's not have revisionist history and say if you had Dak against us that it would have been any different.
Yeah, I get that. I'm beginning to get that right now.
All as I'm saying, Mark, is let's flip, the card over.
Mm-hmm.
Let's fast forward to Christmas Eve.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have Jalen Hurts.
Well, let's not
you
get
don't have your left tackle.
Let's
you
don't
tell
go,
me what happened.
Oh yeah, you're true, but
That's all
I'm not
saying.
thinking that far down the road right now. Right now, I'm thinking about Aaron Rodgers that may be fighting for their season against us.
that game scares me.
That's one of those
Aaron Rodgers
ones.
has had our numbers.
Now, I'm just saying in regards to the narrative now is the Eagles are far and away
They're not.
best
Yeah.
team. That's all we're talking about. We're at our halfway point.
Here's an
So we're gonna
interesting.
assess
Here's
what's
an
going on.
interesting thing. Believe it or not, when remember last year they're talking about how the Eagles were the best running team in football and how great they were and everything else, and Jalen Hurts. Would you believe that the Eagles are averaging 4.3 yards a run and we're averaging 4.7?
Yeah. Well, even Roz would admit probably you could find a stat to always, whether you're an Eagles fan, there's a stat out there that you're going to like usually. So that's why but I agree.
If you want to trigger an Eagle fan, tell them that they haven't played anybody. They will go off on that stuff. They get so mad. I mean, they literally will go on Twitter. Why are they saying? They didn't say anything about the Cowboys. I was like, dude, they said that every single. Because see, and here's the difference of last year. They were right when they said, our division stunk, and we got all those easy wins.
Right.
It's not this year.
No, not at all.
You got now nobody with the losing record. So don't come through here and say, we look. I'm sorry, the Texans, the Jags, and the Lions. You're claiming that those are great wins. Now we'll find out about Minnesota more tomorrow against Washington. Maybe, I don't know. The Commanders, they got the end zones painted black. They got the writing on the field done in black. They're going to be wearing their black uniforms. And there's the Commanders.
Wow.
And I dare say that they got a bounce in their steps. I'm telling you that the power or the drain of Dan Snyder, all of a sudden they're getting hyped up that, hey, man, we might have Jay-Z.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Don't think that this couldn't be something that could turn their ass around and motivate them.
Shout out to Mike Hutton. Eagle. He's been a Jobu tailgate member for 13 months.
Shout out to Mark Hutton.
And Bezos owns Google, right?
He owns Amazon Prime. Well, he's kind of stepped away. He's still getting paid. He's not doing like day-to-day operations.
He owned Amazon and the Washington Post.
He was the number one most wealthiest man. Now I think number 2 or 3.
Yeah, because Elon Musk bought Twitter, so he's trying to compete with Elon
now
Musk.
But Twitter's losing like $4 million a day, and he's gutting it out. So what's up, Hawk? Man, how are you? Long time no see, Hawk. I'm old enough to remember. I'm old enough to remember when Hawk said, "Be scared of the Washington Commanders with Carson Wentz. They finally have a good quarterback." I'm gonna say, be scared of the Heineke Washington Commanders.
You're not.
I want to know where Nick Caps is.
Nick Caps? Good question.
Yeah, where Nick Caps at?
Yeah, he should
be flexing.
I was talking to Rio because Rio, somebody has they're going to be in a suite tomorrow, and like 20 of them or something or other.
Sweet.
Yeah, a suite at the gate. Yeah, and they are excited they are like bouncing off the walls, man. And it's like that Dan Snyder might be leaving. I'm telling you, that might be the thing that really motivates them and changes the narrative on that team. I'm telling you. And I can't, what? And here's the other thing. Since I started playing the Commanders song, I think they're undefeated.
Then it's your fault.
It's my fault. Blame me. It's my fault. I ain't playing that shit no more. I'm telling you,
It kind of sticks in your head. I don't know why, but it just sticks in your head. When you hear it.
Kind of like crack.
I agree.
Yeah. Okay, so interesting thing. Kevin Gray Jr. actually tweeted out earlier today. Of the 5 teams with winning records in the NFC, we've got the Eagles with Jalen Hurts. We have the Vikings with Kirk Cousins. We have the Cowboys with Dak Prescott. We have the Giants with Daniel Jones. And we have Geno Smith with the Seattle Seahawks. And I'll even put out there Heineke because they technically don't have a losing record with Washington. Which quarterback do you trust the most out of that list? Jalen Hurts, Kirk Cousins, Dak Prescott, Daniel Jones, or Geno Smith? Or Tyler
Dak.
Heineke.
Yeah. Everybody, has a short memory. And this time last year, Eagles are looking for a new quarterback. It's the fans didn't like him. The media was hammering him. Nice guy, not a very good arm. You can't make all the throws. Funny when you have a team around you, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Talk, man. Take a breath. Take a drink,
up?
man.
Nathan Henry
You got
says,
COVID, Mark? You got COVID? I mean, Hog.
Nah, I'm just
Yeah.
smoking. Sorry, the smoke.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
Time,
What's going on? What's going on, Cowboy Nation?
"Oh
We're
man,
just enjoying the bye week here. I hate
Don't
bye
worry
weeks,
about the
but
Eagles.
we need it.
Eagles ain't doing anything.
Listen, we're
We'll
not
take the
worrying
Eagles
about
down.
them, but we have to respect that they're 8-0. To me,
Yeah,
I would be fake.
That's fine.
But I-
Darlene,
I'm
hold
gonna
on."
go with the
Darlene
Eagles.
says, "Play the Commander song next week against the Eagles." You may have a point there. I'll bring it out in full.
I'm still
for that
like
game.
DMV. The next time I say DMV, because when I was at your house, he was like, I want to take that, that O. He didn't want the Eagles to lose. That I think they were playing Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
It was the day they were playing. I'm like, dude, it's the NFC East. I'm sorry, but you can't really root for those teams because when you start rooting for them to win, shit happens, man. Like weird things happen, and they haven't lost. So,
Mm-hmm.
don't ever say, I want to steal their O because I think we're going to run out of time. It's going to be hard for us to run the table. Our schedule is harder than theirs.
Well, we actually
we got
right
a tough
now
stretch.
this stretch right now because of course
It's coming up. Yeah,
we got the Vikings right after Green Bay
Then the Giants.
and then
we
the
could be
Giants.
3 out. So we still have to beat them, but we could be 3 out when we play them.
Mm-hmm.
We may run out of time, but we're going to make the playoffs. So have no fear. And I would feel more comfortable. It's not how you're playing now. That's what I was telling people on Twitter. This Cowboy fan posted a video, and he's getting lit up by other Cowboy fans saying basically what I said about the Eagles are the best team. And I don't think anybody would argue that, right? You have to say right now they're the best team, but they don't give a trophy for
but they have Achilles heel now because here's where I was watching that game, and I'm sorry, but that whole dude perfect thing, God,
that was horrible, Mark. Sorry, man.
that was you turned it off before me, and I was just
I'm
like,
sorry.
this
I
is
was
just
getting tired, and I was just like
cranky.
I can't watch.
But watching the Texans sack Hurts 4 times.
You saw how they rushed him, though. They were smart about it.
Mm-hmm.
As much as I love D-Law, D-Law,
Terrible
he was
angles.
collapsing and giving
Yeah.
the edge. You have to stay upfield, keep him inside. We have plenty of big guys up, and our fast.
You can do that against a Tyler Heineke who doesn't have speed, but
You're getting
you
greedy.
can't
How
do
many
that
times
with
you
like
see
a
him
Hurts.
go to
Yeah.
running back. It's a
Oh,
read
Justin Fields.
Speak
Nail
of
the hell out of
the anti-cowboy. He's just strolling in here now.
Yeah, but I have faith that Dan Quinn is going to show them that. I'm sure he already has.
Mm-hmm.
And by the time we play a team like the Eagles with a running quarterback, we're only going to get better. So,
Well, here's how
he didn't do good against Fields. So.
True.
He didn't beat a lot.
He did all right, but again, D-Law.
No, he didn't. He did not do all right.
D-Law killed us a couple times.
Yeah, a couple of big plays that Fields
Yeah,
had.
and they were big
because he crashed inside.
Yeah.
He's got outside
Too much.
contain, and he just rounded. Yeah.
As good as he is,
And left it for Wilson.
he
to
has
clean
to
it
be
up.
more disciplined against those guys. Keep him in the pocket. That's the least place that Hurts wants to be, in the pocket. You don't want to be there.
Yeah, true on that one.
Do you guys trust the receivers going in and out, or like rest of the season? What do you think?
CD
Mark?
Lamb's been playing a little bit better.
Yeah, he's good.
But I want to see, what we do when Noah Brown comes back.
That all depends. Are we running 2 tight ends? Then yes, I'm fine with it.
I like the 2 tight ends.
Are we putting 3
Well,
wide
yeah, 3
receivers
tight
or
ends.
4 wide receivers or 5 wide receivers? We'll never see, but
I don't
I
want
don't like it at all.
Yeah, no, I don't.
Yeah.
I never liked seeing that to begin with. We got
But
5
I'm
wide
just
out.
saying, we get exposed when that's all we're running out. Is Midland receivers.
And that was
Two tight ends in
and
there.
you know what? That was the problem that happened in the second half of the season last year, was because we kept doing such 3 and 4 wideouts and stuff. We'd have 5 offensive linemen, everybody's going out, and we got away from the run. Teams could pin their ears back and go after us. And here's where you really can stop the other teams from being able to run. Get a lead. This is the perfect defense to have if you got a lead and you can just turn the dogs loose on them. And that, I think, you're going to start seeing more and more with Dak. You know, we've had some people who talked about the first game back for Dak. Oh, he looked like ass. He didn't put up. Look, dude, he's ahead of schedule right now. Having this week right here to heal and to catch his breath, and then we got, the game next week, he should be coming out and being able to throw a hell of a lot better. And then we've got everybody going crazy about, Tony Pollard versus Zeke. It's like, do you guys realize that between the two of them, they're both on schedule to make 1,000 yards each? Yeah. It's like, there's not a problem here.
Over the last 2 games, you know what the highest rated quarterback in the league is?
Who?
Dak Prescott.
Is it?
So,
I'm surprised.
I mean,
what's Dak's record versus the Eagles?
Dak is 7-3.
Well, I ain't mad because I knew this was the game they may lose.
Dak's 7-3, and he's never lost to Jalen Hurts.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I don't know what else to tell you.
Yeah. The Commanders. Excuse me. Why are we watching? Thomas's crotch. Why are you up here swinging in front of us there, Thomas?
Sorry,
what the hell?
that's not Thomas. That's not Thomas.
I was putting.
Christopher. Chris.
My fault.
Oh wait, there it is. No, it is Thomas.
Okay, all right. I thought that was Thomas. Okay, well looks like you guys got his shirt is the same color as your pants. But anyway, welcome everybody.
It's a shit show.
Yeah, it seems like they're always looking for some controversy. And see what pissed me off, and this is where I tried to show people a difference, but again, it triggers Eagle fans when I was saying, okay, so you guys did not look great against the Texans. All everybody kept talking about the next day was, oh, the Eagles are 8-0. They're, is this the best Eagle team ever? And I was like, they gave up 168 yards on the ground to the Eagles. To the Texans. They gave up the 4 sacks. I'm like, you're not supposed to do this to the bottom feeder of the league. We beat the Bears 49-29 or whatever it was. And it's like, oh, the Cowboys, they got so much to worry about. And it's like, I get it. We do have to worry about stopping the run. Although you could look and say, the Bears had rushed for 200 yards the 2 weeks before and are the best rushing team.
Rushing offense in the league.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You could understand us. The Texans were like 26.
Yeah, that's what I mean. People go, listen, Eagles, you have to play that team. I will give the Bears all the credit in the world.
Let's see what the Bears do.
Team.
Yeah.
They're a physical football team.
Yeah, we actually got beat up.
They just said, all right, listen, we can't most likely win the game, but we're going to do the one thing we could do. And that's run the ball. With our quarterback, with our running back, with our wide receivers. We're just going to run the ball. And that's what they did.
They did it rather well.
At one point, they were not going to win the game. But they didn't stop, did they?
Nope.
So, you got to play them. They are a physical football team.
Yeah.
I think a big bet, Mark. I don't know if you're going to like this one.
Go ahead. Well, you all summer you preached about Carson Wentz is going to be the difference maker.
No. To hell with Carson Wentz. He sucks. No, if I lose next game with the Eagles, I got to paint my whole man cave Eagles colors. I'm like,
why do you do these bets?
That's great.
I like seeing.
Unless you live in a closet.
People suffer, man.
That's
and Eagles. I hate Eagles with a passion, Mark.
So if they lose, what do they have to do?
I live in Philly, Mark, and I got to deal with this shit every fucking day, Mark. I can't take.
I'm about a half hour from you.
So you're painting yours. What do they lose when the Cowboys beat them?
Thanks.
They got to do their man cave Cowboys color. So.
Well, that's what's going to happen. We're not losing at home against the Eagles. They can talk all the shit they want. All things being equal. I mean, listen, if Dak's not there, or if we have. I don't like to think about that, but right now, if all things being equal, we're winning that game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm telling you now, we're winning.
If the defense is playing the way they playing this year, last year, I think we go deep in the playoffs.
We're a better team than we were last year. That's why
Yeah, that's what we are.
And that's what we said earlier in the year. We may not. I think we're going to win at least 12 wins. Just looking at the schedule, I don't see how we can't win 12. Mm-hmm. But It's all about how we're playing going into the playoff. That's why I said, like a team like Philly, who's winning ugly. Hey, a win's a win. Shout out to you. You're racking up the wins. But when you get into the playoffs and you get the right matchup, like a Niners, like last year, that was a physical team, they're in deep trouble.
Well, you can look at. I tell you what, since you brought that up,
whoever's hot at that point.
Okay, well, since you brought that point up, think about where we were when the season ended last year with our offensive line. Our offensive line was not good at the end of the year. Tyron Smith was back, but Tyron Smith was really on that one leg in a shell of himself, which I was hoping that Primetime was going to be in here because we're going to have to deal with that situation that we talked about. Tyron Smith is about
ready for our live.
Yeah, 3 or 4 weeks away from being able to be back. They're going to start opening up his window. Maybe
I'm good with it. So.
With him actually
back.
playing.
Yes.
Well, then the question will be is how we do it. But before we get to that,
I know
our offensive line right now is playing better than it did last year. I will say our running game right now. Now, again, we'll see how Zeke comes back after the hyperextended knee. Is definitely better than it was at the end of the season and in the playoffs. Can we all agree on that one?
Yeah.
I would say our defense, we're still worried about the run stopping, but I'd say our defense is definitely better than it was last year. So, yeah, the argument can be made that we are a better team for sure than the second half team of last year. And I think we'll get better. I think as we get Hankins involved in the run stopping, I know Roz is in here. Brother Roz. The anti-cowboy. Where are you, Roz?
We don't really care.
What's up, man?
How are we doing today? Can I ask you a quick question? I don't know if you're in a position to actually look at it up now. What is Connor McGovern? Is he trending up now at offensive guard for the Cowboys?
What do you mean trending up?
As in playing better. Is he grading better? Left guard was truly our weakest link on the offensive line. With Matt Fornick.
Yeah, as far as his grades, the last 2 games he's graded out above average. Excellent in pass blocking, average in run blocking.
Interesting, because he was, about 40s first couple of games, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Huh. And how is Tyler Smith grading out? Are you all right there, Hawk?
That's the issue.
Oh, I'm good.
Okay.
I hope he's grading out better than Hawk.
What's up, Kathy? How are you doing? Okay, I guess he's looking that up because now the conundrum
Smith is pretty much doing the same he's done all year.
Okay, so now the question is, do you mess up? Do we mess with the offensive line with Tyron Smith?
No. You can plug him in somewhere. No.
Well,
when Tyron's healthy, he starts at left tackle.
Where are you plugging him in? I mean, because he's not going to play center.
Listen, if it's my team,
he's not going to take Zach Martin. I don't think he's taking right tackle.
And he takes Tyler Smith. Slides over to guard.
Then where Tyler Smith go?
Left guard.
All right.
That's where we go, and then you have a great.
Peters is the backup.
I don't
Peters.
even know about
you know what? I think Peters will be gone.
I don't know, but let's let it play out. There's still a month to be played, and there's injuries can happen. But our depth is going to be incredible at that point. And if Tyron is playing like ass, well, we know.
Then we know we can go back.
Moving him to the other side, but that was the issue last year.
Mm-hmm.
Steele.
Yep.
Yeah, that's opposite, man. That's not like that's your different drop step, different hand placement. That was ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion. He's a Hall of Famer. The dude is unbelievable. Let's use him up because this is his last year.
Right, we paying him. Might as well use him.
Yeah.
Can you imagine having them two like on the left side?
Well, see, in the difference
running
too,
the ball
and
with
you,
the tight end over there. Good luck.
Right.
Well, or tight ends, tight ends. Could be 3 of them again. Yeah,
that was nice. Did you like seeing that? I like
13 personnel.
13
yes.
personnel.
We're talking about it. We called it before the game.
Mm-hmm. And see, that's the maturation I'm talking about now. When you think about the Cowboys in 2014, when Tony Romo's back was bothering him when we went against the 49ers and 3 interceptions and couldn't get the ball 25 yards down the field. We said we ended up having to run. And it was kind of like light bulb went off, and it was like, damn, running is actually working. It's helping our defense. We're controlling the clock. And Tony Romo had the most touchdown passes he had in his career, threw for 3,800 yards and only had like 9 interceptions. So it was one of those things that we learned by accident. Well, we don't have the horses as far as wide receivers. Last year, I'm sure Jerry's like, you got to get CD the ball. You got to get Michael Gallup. He's in a contract year. And, Amari Cooper. So you've got the luxury of those, and you just kept throwing and throwing and throwing. Now you don't have those great ones. Now you got to be more creative in what you're doing. And you kind of discovered that Hendershot and Brother Roz, I see you're muted there, said he could be our baby Kelsick next year. I'm sorry, George Kittle in the next couple of years. Am I lying on that there, Brother Ross? That he's actually grading it?
That based on what he's doing, he has the capability to become that. Now, as far as next year?
I mean, the next couple of years. I'm sorry. Not next year, but down the road. Because, as me and Roz are like an old married couple. Usually we have about an hour-long conversation going, in 2 different directions and stuff. But, typically tight ends don't come along well the first couple of years. It usually takes a couple of years for them to get there. Between Jake Ferguson and Hendershot, both of those guys are playing ahead of where they should be right now. And you can kind of see Frickin' Frack, or the Blues Brothers is what I like to call them, having those guys on the field, you can do a lot of different things from running the ball. And I know, Raj, you're going to talk about Jake Ferguson's whiff block. I know you're going to. Go ahead. Throw cold water on me there, honey.
Yeah, that's not going to happen, Mark.
What, throwing cold water on me?
Well, trust me, y'all don't like to hear truth.
Go ahead, tell truth.
Analysis, you're doing the fanboy thing. I don't want to ruin that for you.
Ruin it for me.
You want my
bring
analysis,
me
I
to
gave
reality.
You my analysis, and then you turn around the next night, you use the exact same play, and you tried to say a block in the back was an actual good block by a dude named Jacob Ferguson, Like, dude whiffed the block and is chasing down the guy he's trying to block, and you use that as the example? I mean, come on, man.
It wasn't called.
Listen, we all know there's holding on every play.
Man, how many
If you get
times?
caught or not.
Yeah, it's crazy.
See, don't we sound like a married couple? You make me look bad.
Mark, is it possible for 4 teams with this new extra team in the playoffs? Is it possible for 4 teams in the division to make the playoffs?
Yes, there are 3 wild card teams. It is actually conceivable.
Oh, wow. Can you imagine
I gotta cook
the whole division making the playoffs?
I got to cook the chicken when I'm done.
So let's talk about next week. I mean, how are you guys feeling about us going against Green Bay?
I'm excited.
Well,
We could beat Green Bay.
Green Bay's got the Lions tomorrow.
Oh.
So that's kind of like a bye week for them. They'll kind
It's
of
always
get on
a
track.
tough game in Green Bay. If you think for 1 minute we're going to go in and just kick their
No,
ass,
I don't think
it's
so
not gonna
either.
happen.
Yeah, because
It's
it's
gonna be a
still,
tough
it's
game.
still
Tough
Aaron
game.
Rodgers.
It is going to be a tough game.
But I would love to.
Always play a close
You're gonna kill
game.
Green Bay.
We got to be thankful that it's not December
Mm-hmm.
or January, and it's not. the
Honestly,
frozen
I think
time.
we got a better chance to beat Minnesota than we do Green Bay. I mean, Green Bay's always been
I
Aaron
thought-
Rodgers has always
yeah.
been a
Yeah, but
Achilles
Aaron
heel
Rodgers.
for us.
Okay,
think
well,
this is our
hold
year.
on. We have a resident owner here in the channel, Brother Roz. He may not want to speak on it. He may have hung up on. He might be mad. I might have to sleep on the couch tonight. Look. Oh, look. He stormed out.
He's back.
But
he came back with the lightsabers. He's going.
Okay, so
Fucking Sith Lord over there.
yeah, I know that Green Bay's got to play the Lions tomorrow and stuff, and it's a whole nother week away. But Brother Roz, Cowboys going to your team's house next week. Is there a chance for the Cowboys?
Chance for any team on any given Sunday.
Okay. What is wrong with the Green Bay Packers?
Offensive line.
Okay,
Inexperience,
I'm getting ready to trigger him. It's the coach, isn't it?
I think it's inexperience.
Probably the
So
coach. Exactly.
You got David Bach. Well, go ahead. That's not for me. That's for him. On mute.
When we blow out the Packers, the Vikings, remember what I said. Don't forget that, Mark.
I remember what you talking about Carson Wentz, that Washington was going to be dangerous. After that, everything else sucks. You say.
Stafford sucks. Carson Wentz sucks. I don't like him. I don't like Carson Wentz. Stafford, I was wrong about Stafford too. Stafford, he got lucky last year.
Well,
just real quick, Mark.
Go ahead.
I've been playing with the sound and speakers and stuff today. I sound okay, right? I'm not yelling at you this time.
You're a little bit lower than usual. Is that a new microphone? Is that like got the? Oh my God.
Yeah, if you
got like the real mic. You got the spit guard and everything on there.
Yeah, well, I'm still playing with it, but yeah, finally I gave up with trying to balance the speakers and the microphone because they were feeding off each other.
Okay. No, you sound great. You got more bass in your voice right now too. You sound like Darth Vader.
I generally don't talk like. I screamed like a girl when I died in Iraq, but that's a whole different beast. Look, at the end of the day.
Thanks for your service, bro.
Thank you. And hey, we can always link up. I got to drive to Philly to work, man. It sucks. I know what it's like.
Sure, man. Yeah, anytime you want to stop by, I'll show you where the spots are at. Cheesesteaks, whatever. Mark doesn't like cheesesteaks, but
I like steak and cheeses. Okay, there's a difference, but be that as it may. But looking ahead for us Cowboys at Green Bay, what are the problems with Green? Is it really that it's just Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers doesn't have the receivers to go? Because I thought they had a great running attack and everything else. It just
again, this comes back to the truth versus the fandom, right? Like everybody that I've heard on TV and YouTube, everybody,
including me.
What? No, I wasn't specifically saying you.
You said everybody. When you say everybody, that means everybody.
You too.
Well, then I guess if a shoe fits.
I don't usually talk about Green Bay that much, though. But go on.
Man, like every video, come on now. Anyways, no, seriously though, the problem that everybody wants to talk about is like Aaron Rodgers says, well, I got my best grade in the game by the coach and things like that. At the end of the day, Rodgers is doing exactly what he's supposed to be doing. The problem is exactly what you did to the Bears, we haven't done in a single game. Right? The Bears, why did you run such heavy packages and run all over them? Because that is the strength of their defense. They have the worst pass rush in the NFL. They weren't about to hit you on a single pass play, whether you RPO'd or anything else. So if you neutralize their running defense, they are literally toothless Bears. In every game we've played, we have played whatever crappy coach scheme that he's come up with.
Oh, so it is a coach.
Well, I mean, let's be realistic. They actually tried to win a game, and how did they do it? They did it on the back of Aaron Jones, what I've been telling you all year.
Yeah, and it seems like you would run that pony.
Aaron Rodgers right now is really just pissed because he can't keep Christian Watson on the field, and that's his guy. So,
and I will also say there's also been a lot of bad drops too.
Well, and you have one guy, Alan Lazard, who can pick up a touchdown here or there, but that guy's he's not even a number 2 wide receiver. Okay, Romeo Doubs is Randall Cobb, not Jordy Nelson. All right, Jordan Nelson was a 1, Randall Cobb was not. So
I'm really surprised, Roz, that y'all didn't try to sign Claypool. That really shocked me.
They did. Green Bay went after Claypool and somebody else, and basically same thing as the Cowboys. They didn't want to pay what he was worth.
Yeah, well, we're getting lambasted,
it's not worth
of course.
It too.
Yeah,
so, Claypool has done nothing to say he's deserving of it too.
No, it's physical tools with him. They think they can.
Yeah, he can run a 9 route.
But can you say that though with the quarterback situation that he had the last couple of years? I mean, Big Ben is not a great quarterback.
Routes? Yeah.
Well, okay, I haven't paid that much attention. But sometimes change of scenery and coaching and different quarterback, he can be better.
Like everybody wants Brandon Cooks, but you want to give up a 2 and a 4 and still have to
still an 18,
the whole $18 million. That's not how it works.
No.
Why you get rid of Cooper? Oh,
well,
you have Cooper in this team this year.
I think it was just because Cooper and Kellen Moore didn't see eye to eye.
It's COVID.
I think that
say it like
when
it is.
He got COVID. That was a straw that broke the camel's back.
He wasn't a team guy. He wasn't a team guy.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah. And yes, Brian, exactly. So not only was it the COVID situation, but it was because he was not a team guy. That's
right.
One of the things we found out as far as the end of that scenario is that just like the NFL finally said, screw it, we're going to put everybody on a protocol leading into the playoffs. So they're 90 days free from testing. We also found out that they literally would bring representatives from the companies in to educate the players. And education was generally followed by a session of vaccinations. Ergo, what they were trying to do was make sure it was just a done deal.
It was done.
Exactly. Just over. And Cooper didn't want to play ball with the Cowboys.
Yep.
The difference is they weren't getting rid of Rodgers, right? Like if they got rid of Rodgers the same way they got rid of Cooper, we would have been talking about the same thing with Rodgers.
Right.
Why did we get rid of him?
Does Aaron Rodgers stay in Green Bay after this year?
Nope.
I think he'll retire a Packer. I don't know when he'll retire, but I don't see him going anywhere else.
I think he makes that decision. If he is okay with them moving forward, which he should be. We went from Favre to Rodgers. Nobody does that.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, right. Exactly. And just like we got lucky with Dak.
We don't have a guy.
Mm-hmm.
We just don't.
I mean, we went from Tony to Dak. We got lucky. They did everything they could not to draft Dak, and we fell in our lap.
Let me get Game Changer.
That don't happen often. You go from a guy like Favre.
Mary. What's up,
actually,
Mary?
Rodgers is probably better than Favre. He's not as...
Hey, real quick, as far as what Game Changer said there, the ownership is not... The ownership does not interfere. They're not allowed to. Okay, so the decisions are made by the GMs and the coaches, and that's really how it should be handled. For better or worse, the less hands in the pot,
the better.
The better. So yeah, I mean, the owners didn't step in because, the owners aren't authorized to. And I'm not talking about me, the shareholder. I'm talking about like the big dogs.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, well, you brought up this whole thing by saying, like, what do you think about Green Bay? Or somebody said you're going into Green Bay. I look at it this way.
End of the day, can Green Bay beat you? That's the question, right?
Yes, they can.
And the answer is yes, they can.
Anybody can beat you.
Right. So you asked the wrong question. What is the right question? Does Green Bay beat you?
Oh, yeah.
The answer to that is no.
Yeah, I'm looking at splitting, over the next 2 games. I look at numbers as far as kind of like Roz. I'm trying to get to an end number. And in my mind, if we could split, now, obviously, if we win them both, then that's wonderful. But, you know how it works. I thought we would start off the year beating Tampa, a revenge game, crowd, opening night, and we got our ass kicked. And then we turn around the next week, AFC team, and we beat Cincinnati. I would have had it the opposite way, but it all works out in the end.
Hey, let's be clear here. We are lucky as shit to be 6-2. Okay,
this is where I had
people didn't have us at 6-2 with Dak Prescott playing when the season started. Okay,
that's all I would say when we look back at the first part of the season and say, "Oh, how great this team is!" And Dallas, Dallas is right where I thought they were, and I didn't know they would lose their left tackle game 1 for basically the year, and their quarterback for 5 games.
We've overcame a lot of adversity.
I challenge any other team to lose their quarterback for 5 games and have 6 wins.
Because y'all know the last time before Dak, when Romo went down,
yeah, it was
like,
but
he's been holding the fort down.
I was going to say, you lost Dak. You still had a quarterback.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you what.
See how that
Cowboy fans and most people would have disagreed with you before he played, because everybody was like, "Why are we so?" Everybody was like, "Cut Cooper, cut him." Will Greer, he can run around better and all that. But he did have that one drive that I told you in week 2 of the preseason, where they ended up using a lot of 12 personnel, and it was like, "Oh, he actually looks like an NFL quarterback if you call the right plays." And that's kind of like what they did with him out there. And that may be the thing that they realize, we can't just throw it up 40 or 50 times every game.
If Dallas can control that clock, that defense will be so much better. It'll be rested. They should sit Larson a couple games. I want him healthy, man. Like I don't know.
But we talked going into the season that our defense is going to keep you in every game. And outside of the first game, even without our quarterback, we've been in every game. I know the Eagle fans hate to hear it, but we were, within 3 points with 5 minutes to play with a backup quarterback on the road in prime time. So that's all you could really ask for. Mm-hmm. That's all we could ask for, and I'm happy at where we sit. We shall see what happens in the second half. Though.
Do you guys trust McCarthy in the playoffs? Calling like if it's a close game, closing out games.
I don't think that that's going to be the reason why we win or lose. I think it's more Kellen Moore and him doing what he did in the playoffs last year.
I tell you what, remember after the Tampa Bay game when I can't remember what one of the linebackers or D-backs from Tampa Bay basically said, Levante David. He said basically all we did was study the plays from last year, and we knew exactly what they were doing. It seems like from that point right there, everything fucking changed.
They could say whatever.
Yeah, but I'm just but you can look at it on the field. I mean, of course, Kellen Moore coming in was a different. Was different than being able to have Dak out there, but everything has kind of changed completely. We've got everybody out here now saying we need that, Tony Pollard to carry the ball a whole lot more. I saw an interesting article where basically they said in this past game, after about 30 plays, he was spent.
Yes.
Blue and Silver Nation, if you go to my homepage there's the subscribe button, and right beside it is the join button. And I'll see if I can grab the link and post it for you for the channel membership.
Listen, I got news for people. Their teams aren't doing what we did to Zeke early in his career. Okay? You see, players are just too fast, too strong. It's a brutal league to carry the ball 25, 30 times game in, game out. Look at Henry out of Tennessee. His career, he got the bag, but that's probably going to be his last big bag that he's going to get. Like teams like Green Bay, teams that have always had a multiple attack. That's the way to go. And I still hold on.
He's actually fortunate that he got the bag, because most running backs never get the opportunity to get the bag, and you may not see that anymore. You think about somebody like Alfred Morris, who was drafted in the 6th round by Washington. They ended up running the hell out of him for 3 years. His biggest contract was when he signed with us.
Well, look at Saquon Barkley. It's amazing that he's doing good, because he's actually going to get paid a little bit. I don't think he's going to get paid Zeke money, but he might. But I'm coming into the back-to-back horrendous years.
I don't think that they will with the injury history that he has.
But he's going to at least. He's gonna make money, whereas there was a chance of him just being okay, bye, and being an average guy. Now he's turned it around to his credit, but I'd like having a 2-back thing.
Throw that away. Sorry,
it's not like it's not so much that Pollard couldn't do it for one game. It's now come back the next week and do it again if Zeke wasn't around today. Then come back and let's do it a third time. That's when injuries catch up, especially a guy like him, kind of a long-legged, explosive guy. It's perfect the way it is. It's just people trying to needle and do
Stir the pot.
clickbait, and stir the pot. There's nothing to stir. Dallas has the right idea. Now, don't get me wrong. Jerry Jones is an idiot for saying, Zeke is, stirs the drink or whatever he said. That's a little much.
Yeah, well, Zeke, he also, remember when he said, Zeke who? Okay, you got to understand, that's Jerry Jones' thing, is to stir the shit up, get the sound bites and stuff. And Aisha, shout out to you, Aisha, being a channel member. I know you miss your aunt there, girl. Thoughts and prayers to you. That's Jerry Jones' thing. If it wasn't Jerry stirring the pot, what would we be like?
He wants to stay relevant. That's all it is.
Yeah, you're
it's
right.
like when he
He's
made the announcement about,
stupid.
we're going to really look into getting somebody in free agency. He wants to stay
Well, they
relevant.
tried. But hold on. Let's back up here for a second, because the Cowboys have done a couple of things this year that they don't normally do. The fact that the last 2 years they have actually drafted a number one technique guy. A one technique guy. They did that with with Bohannon, and also John Ridgway was something they never did. And the fact that they went out and actually made a trade for a one technique guy, that's something the Cowboys, never made trades, never gave a rat's ass about interior defensive linemen. That's a major shift for them. I'm not saying that that's, earth shattering, but, a lot of our free agent moves have actually worked out pretty good for us. Anthony Barr has not been bad. Turpin has not been bad. Now, Jason Peters hasn't really gotten on the field any, but at least we're not, hawking the future here knee deep in debt.
Yeah. And everybody goes, I keep hearing this window. I keep hearing the window. Why is there a window? They're literally the third youngest team.
I saw that today.
The third youngest team in the league, and that's only recent because we got a 41-year-old backup left tackle. Russ, we'd be like the second.
You mean D-Law is like the oldest guy on the defense, I think, right now. D-Law and Anthony Barr.
All the young guys that were using.
Anthony Barr is, a rental. He'll be gone. And hopefully Jabril Cox or Damone Clark will be taking their place, right? Tyron Smith is $17 million next year.
He's gone.
He's going to be gone.
Right.
So now you may be looking at the Cowboys being the youngest team next year. And the thing, we talk about free agency. We don't get free agents. You start thinking about some of the free agents that we'd picked up as an undrafted rookie free agents, like Hendershot. Hendershot's playing a hell of a lot of time for a guy that was not drafted.
Well, we were talking about that like when we're doing our draft coverage. I'm a little more into the players, not deep, but the reason why he wasn't drafted was a character issue. That was the only reason why he wasn't drafted. Kind of an immature guy, raw, has big upside. Well, you're starting to see glimpses of the upside. Now we'll see how it turns out. It's only a glimpse. It could go one of two ways, but so far.
Brooklyn Joe, you're 100% right, and that's another thing that the Cowboys. I don't know. I honestly don't think that the Joneses are meddling as much with the team itself, the actual coaching like they used to.
I think we get caught up in their interviews, but their actual moves do more of the talking than their mouths, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Steven says nothing. But Jerry,
no, he's got his now. Steven Jones,
down.
He's got the Monday, spotlight. Jerry's got the Tuesday, and we killed Catboy. We've killed him, but you start looking at this and saying,
him off the hook. So
well,
sorry. All right.
I think they've been.
Dorrance Armstrong is right there with Randy Gregory. He said that we killed him.
Broken clock can be right twice a day too. You know what I mean? Catboy will never sign anybody. Never.
James, I think I did get that email. I
D-Law
probably didn't
wouldn't be
respond
here
to
if
it.
it was up to Catboy.
Well,
The only reason why D-Law's here is because Daddy said nah.
That's true. That's true.
That's all I'm saying. He does that all the time, whereas you need that other counterbalance. So, Jerry, don't go anywhere, please, for a while. You annoy me, but you're a good balance.
You like Sam Williams?
I do like Sam Williams.
Sam Williams is going to be good, man.
Yeah.
Well, again, and that's another one of those young pieces.
Too. Very, very.
Yeah, he's very raw, but he's physical and he is fast. And getting Damone Clark out there, I was, because Anthony Barr got injured, for him to play two and a half quarters in there, that guy is fast. Once he learns the game, you start looking at this and saying, okay, I still don't know what's going on with Jabril Cox. And if anybody knows, please let me know, because, we looked at him and said, okay, he's going to get on the field a lot. He's just not on the field. That injury must still be taking time to get in there.
He tweaked it in the last game, but where's he going to play right now? There's no place for him to play. Damone Clark would have been a first-round pick. Absolutely would have been a first-round pick. But if you look at Damone Clark's numbers compared to Nakobe Dean's numbers, not even close. Everybody said Nakobe, he should have went early. I mean, like Damone Clark had an injury. His first game action last week was just him. You could see he was just trying. He did good, but he was just trying not to make a mistake.
Right.
That's all he was doing.
Yeah, it's not instinctual yet.
And that was fine. I mean, he needs these downs, and we still won. That's the impressive part. We're getting these young guys in with actual playing time before you actually need them. Because at some point, you're going to have an injury. It's like, all right, Damone, now we need you to go play 25, 30 snaps. And
it also keeps less wear and tear on the veterans when it comes crunch time as well. 17 games is a long, long season. So being able to rotate players in and out of the lineup is going to end up paying off dividends. And that's where the depth on the defense really is going to come in handy.
So listen, I wanted to ask everybody in the chat. So I mentioned it, but I mean, is everybody really? I was upset that there wasn't a move made because you ran your mouth saying that that we were going to do a move. But is anybody upset that we didn't get Brandon Cooks? I'm not, but
I'm not. I wanted him.
No,
I'm gonna tell you,
the idea of him is good, but nothing is for free, and he's been traded already 4 times.
Okay,
what's the deal there?
If you're asking my opinion,
I'm not surprised. Let me tell you something about the clown show down in Arlington. Nothing surprised me no more. Nothing surprised me no more. I've been ever since 1989. You got to listen to how they talk. Listen to the words. Just like when Jerry was saying what he said. Remember when he said those things? Don't be surprised if this don't happen. Don't be surprised if that don't happen. I knew then we weren't going to pick up nobody. I don't know why nobody didn't catch on to what he was trying to say. Jerry think he's a slickster, but you got to listen to what he says.
But hold on, Thomas, though. They tried, but here's the thing. What they were asking for Cooks was too much. It was too much. The Texans were, and you know what? I hope it blows up in the Texans' face and they end up having to release him. That's what I hope happens, because he's like, screw y'all. Y'all messing with me. If he knows where the bodies are buried, then do that. But come on. A second and a fourth? If he had done that, he would have gotten killed to say, look how stupid they are. They gave up a second and a fourth for that guy, got a guaranteed $18 million contract, and they gave away Amari Cooper for $5 million. Sometimes the best move is a move that you don't make. And I look at it like, is Brandon Cooks going to be all of a sudden we're a Super Bowl team? No. And signing just another, somebody that's now got to come in and learn the system and take, maybe time away from somebody else, you're better off keeping the guys you had. This is the same thing about when Dak went down. Oh, we need to sign another quarterback. You're going to sign somebody else who doesn't know your system. It's got to come in. You're going to spend time and resources trying to coach them up, and they may be a better person physically than what you have, but the learning curve is going to make them a worse player for your roster because they've got to get up to speed. And that's where people are like, well, Hankins didn't do much. Well, he just got here. He's got to learn the playbooks. He's got to learn the calls, because in defense, one person out of place will screw the whole play.
Yeah.
So, bring in, let's give up a whole bunch to bring Brandon Cooks in here. Is Brandon Cooks going to make us that much better? I don't know about that. And if they do believe in James Washington, if they do believe in Noah Brown, that to me, that's the guys that you got right there, Brandon Cook.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I just don't. After seeing what I was thinking of 3, and them picking up at least half of the money.
Yeah, then I'd say, yeah, that's great.
But then I was like, okay, when I heard a 2 and a 4, and they weren't picking up much, if if anything at all. I was like, that's not usually how it works. Shout out to Sean Heatherly.
Got you on that. Boom.
Super
Shot.
chat. What worries me is when we play Philly, we came back, the defense had an opportunity to get the Eagles off the field and couldn't. Yeah, that one drive was a backbreaker. I think it was one of those deals where the Eagles knew because they lost one player. They lost their right tackle, and literally their game fell apart.
Right.
For that one drive, they ran 2 plays, and we couldn't stop it. So yes, but with game plan, I just think that you're not going to see that drive in and drive out. I mean, it was frustrating. You come all the way back to within 3 points with 5 minutes to go. You need to stop, but you got to remember our defense was on the field a lot that game.
Yeah,
and had the ball
again.
So.
We played a conservative offense because we were trying not to turn the ball over. With Cooper Rush, and I'm not mad at him about it. But we
were in the game because of it.
And as much as everybody's like, "Oh, this is when you're winning, whatever you're doing, you're great at it." But okay, we were winning. Right. Not because of Cooper Rush. We were not losing because of Cooper Rush.
And listen, and if you're going to tell me that we're going to get a 80% OBJ in a month from now, he's not going to be 100%. So
yeah, I'm not sure that's going to be the answer.
I'm saying, but like if we're going to get him for just money, then I would be more inclined to do that than bring in Brandon Cooks for a 2 and a 4 and eat the more importantly, the 18 mil for next year. Because I don't know about you, Mark. I think the Cowboys is waiting too long to re-sign Terrence Steele. His price is going up by the game.
Well, here's the thing: is depending on what the Cowboys decided, and Colin Cowherd is basically saying the reason why the Cowboys didn't sign Brandon Cooks is because of Dak Prescott's contract. Which is cap number.
Nothing to do with
I know it does, but that's what that's the wedge they try to do.
Get in your boy's ear.
But Zeke Elliott's cap number next year, which with 0 guaranteed money, is $16.7 million.
But we knew what's going to happen there. He'll never see that.
Tyron Smith. Hold on for a second here. Tyron Smith is $17 million with 0 guaranteed money. So right there, that's $34 million in cap space. And the salary cap is going to balloon up next year because that's where all the new money starts next year. So there's, and Dak's number is not going to be 49 next year. They'll end up kicking some more of that into the other thing, or they'll redo his contract. So we will actually have a lot of money at the moment. If you look at next year,
and they're going to redo their own players first. They may go out and get a middling guy, but they're going to take care of Diggs. They're going to take care of CD, and they're going to take care of hopefully Steele. But I just think he's. Like they did with Tyron, not that, like when I say Tyron, he ain't getting a Tyron deal, but Tyron's got a team-friendly deal because they locked him up early.
Yeah. So. And they may decide that they bring him back and redo his contract, the same thing with Zeke Elliott. But if you end up just getting rid of those two guys with the 14 that we already have before the rollover, you're at $54 million of cap space for next year without doing anything else.
Because they haven't really manipulated a lot of contracts.
No,
really
this past year
like
they
Zach
did not.
Martin,
Other than DeMarcus Lawrence was the only. They gave him a new contract. Right. He's actually a big cap number next year at $26 million. So you have Dak, and then Zach Martin's at 19, and Michael Gallup is at 14 next year.
But
that's the one actually I start thinking.
Think about this: you're not going to be paying 10 or 13 million, most likely for Schultz, unless you really want to. That's more money you're going to save. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, his number's not counted in that for next year.
But
now,
I mean,
you can franchise tag him again and it ended up being about $14 million, which is probably below the market value. So but
I think you're going to get a pick for him. Somebody's going to blow him out of the water. He's going to have a good second half, and that's fine. That's what it is. We got young guys in the fold ready to go. It's the NFL. This isn't NBA or MLB.
Well,
they're going to go get the bag.
Well, here's the thing. You honestly have to look at it when everybody was killing us for not signing all the free agents. And, basically the Cowboys said, we're basically going to do this through the draft. And that's what they actually did. This team, to have Sam Williams, limited playing time, but to still have 2 sacks, to have Tyler Smith end up being your tackle that's, above average out the box is freaking insane. And to get guys like Hendershot and to Jake Ferguson that are playing, starting roles. We actually got a lot of firepower out of this draft class, and the same thing with getting Micah last year and Diggs the year before. This team has never been built by free agents, and they've always been somewhere close to the top in the division. Maybe we're not having the success in the playoffs and stuff. Maybe we just run out of steam, but they've done some really good things with finding personnel in here. And like we just said, we're the third youngest team with a couple of guys that aren't going to be here next year. And we're not getting any older next year, but we've got a lot of experience. So before we get up out of here, I know you've got your show tonight with Prime Time. What you guys got on tap? Because I know you don't have anything in the mailbox, do you, Brian?
Yeah, there's something in there, but you guys can't see it. No, there's nothing in there. We're gonna have Cole's Cowboys on, and then we're gonna bring in I got into a little bit of a Twitter beef with an Eagle fan. Mm-hmm. I said, listen, you're more than welcome to come on the show and state your case. That he's coming on. I'll probably zoom him in at 7:30. So we'll go from 7 to 8. Get everybody out of there if they're interested in the World Series. But yeah, come check it out. We're gonna go over the first half, look ahead a little bit, and talk to an Eagle fan who thinks that we would have had no shot with Dak in Philly regardless. So that's a big fun.
Okay. Because Dak never beats Philly. Just never. He never has any success.
Field,
yeah.
He was like, "Why me? Why are you picking me to come on?" I'm like, "Well, you're the guy I'm talking to, and this is a bye week. This is good. This is,
Do you think he'll show?
Yeah, he actually is on Twitch a lot, so you've seen him, and he's got the setup already. So I think he will. We shall see.
Okay.
Stay tuned.
Sacrificial.
Yeah, it'll be
lamb.
fun. It'll be fun.
Okay. All right. Well, everybody get your final thoughts in here before we get ready to head on out. What's everybody think? You feeling good about the Cowboys and our chances for the future?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You mad that we didn't sign, Cooks?
No.
You think we're going to get Odell Beckham Jr. and will he make a difference?
No.
I still don't think that he's going to really be. I don't think he's going to be ready. I really don't. They keep saying
I think
early
he
December.
won't be ready until like December or maybe middle of January.
Yeah, in which case you're not bringing him in for that. Honestly, I think for his own benefit, it might be better to just bag the season, really get healthy, and look for his future. Because if he ends up hurting that knee again, if that thing is not right, you got to look and say that it may be finally over for him.
Yeah, use the rest of this as like a rehab seat. Like a rehab year, like a red shirt year, a personal red shirt.
Yeah.
Don't risk it.
Amen on that one. All right.
Because you don't tore that, you don't tore that same ACL twice, 2 years in a row. You want to make sure that, you strengthen that knee before you go back out there.
Right. All righty. Well, let me say thank you to everybody being part of the chat, being in here and everything else. Thomas, what game you watching?
UT in Georgia.
You must not really be into it tonight because usually you really yelling and screaming.
Y'all didn't bring the right stuff up, Mark.
Oh, okay. All right. Brother Roz.
It was a certain topic that I want to vent on today, but y'all didn't bring it up. But it's all good though because it's still time.
What topic was that?
The game, the Bears game.
No. We gonna wait until these fuckers get their first loss. Then
the
I'm
Eagles.
Gonna be.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Brother,
they're not going 17-0. You can forget it. It ain't gonna happen. Somebody down in Dade County go up and put it up and make sure somebody may get shot. That ain't gonna happen.
Don't say that. Don't put that out there to the universe. All right, Brother Roz. You've actually been quiet today, Brother Roz. Everything okay? Did the chickens get out? Did they come home to roost?
No.
No, they didn't come home to roost.
Throw the damn ball.
No, it's
boy.
just not a wonderful day. That's all.
I'm sorry. I hope
No, it's
here.
just regular.
I'm gonna send you. I'm gonna send you an internet hug, there, buddy.
You know, I'm really not into physical human contact, right?
Yeah.
It's part of my being a high functioning sociopath. I can't physically contact people otherwise.
Which is why I'm sending another one. We're gonna break you. We're gonna break you, psycho.
There's when y'all are talking about the future and stuff. I don't pay attention to any of that until after the fantasy season. So then when we hit weeks 17 and 18, that's when I start concerning myself with cap numbers, with who's available free via trade versus just free agents, rookies that are possibly coming in, etc. I have all my lists that I keep throughout the year as the college season goes on, but I don't break any of that down or really think about it. Not so I don't have anything to contribute is what I'm saying.
Okay.
Personally, might want to hold on to that Tyrone dude.
Okay. I hear you.
Because you might have asked me about a guy that while he's been doing the same all year, might not be the answer as we get another month
Connor
or two.
McGovern.
Wow, you nailed that one right on the
We're an
head.
old married couple. We're here, buddy. We're here. I know what you're thinking before you say it. I was actually surprised that you told me that he graded out that well, because that was my thing. Is I'm kicking Tyler right there to guard because that's going to make that position better.
Yeah, and see that honestly is probably the best thing y'all could do. It's just one of those things where, I hate to say it, but it's almost got to be a Detroit Chicago thing, because there was a lot of help on the line. There was less snaps for him. So it's easier to grade up. The Detroit thing.
Detroit's not good defensively.
I don't know. Because, I'm looking across this, and honestly, 59 snaps is a lot.
But Detroit's not that good defensively. It's not like you're playing, Fletcher Cox.
Well, and he's not outside facing off against Aiden Hutchinson. And the rest of their line is good, but it's not like scary.
Right.
So it's possible it just the way he held up his own that one, and not giving up pressures. Like that's always boosting, grading. So if the pressure wasn't coming to his area, which in the Chicago game, there was very few opportunities for pressures. I don't know. I can't tell you, I can explain the grade based on what I see, but I can't explain why he played better these two games versus the rest of the year. But I can also tell you that there is chatter that he is the worst or the weakest link, not the worst.
Oh, I'd have to say that, because I look and say that, Zach Martin is Zach Martin. We know that. Terrence Steele you don't hear Terrence Steele's name, which means he's been doing really good on that side. Biotish has played better at center. Tyler Smith, for a rookie, is playing, you said, I think, sixth best rating as a rookie?
Yeah, so on that, too, he's grading sixth best out of the rookie offensive linemen. It's not just tackles, but
all
guards as well.
So, and
which is actually really good to be. He's basically past the top half. He's in the top six.
Yeah, and to be drafted in the 20s, that's really good. But you got to say that Connor McGovern is the weakest link in there. And, when we had Matt Fornick playing there, geez, we had like 30s gradings, I think.
Holy heck.
What? Uh-oh.
I bet you I know why his grade was so good this past weekend.
Why is that?
When I watched every single play and charted every single play, more often than not, the left side of the line was where your help was at extra tight ends. And 9 times out of 10, they were crashing into his area.
Okay.
Which means if they're bringing that outside, sealing the edge, like you talked.
Yeah.
If they're sealing the edge and your tight end comes on top of your tackle and your tackle's coming on top of your guard, then McGovern can't fail.
Help. Yeah, he's got help.
He's got 2 guys helping.
Yeah, that could be it. And then the play's going the outside and the play is successful. Boom.
Yeah, and I completely forgot about that.
And maybe that was actually Kellen Moore and the offensive line coach realizing we have a weak link here and what can we do to actually help him, which is where coaching matters. Okay. Did you screen freeze?
Was that a stab at Green Bay having a crappy coach?
Why has everything got to be about Green Bay? I'm talking about ours because we've killed Phoeben. Okay, listen, I'm going to be the first one to say that I was one of many Cowboys YouTubers and everybody else that said Joe Phoeben sucks as an offensive line coach. But here it is. We've actually playing better on the offensive line than we thought we would. Everybody's like, we got to draft a center. Yadish sucks. Tyron Smith is gone.
I follow Brian Bartnick on Instagram, and he always show film of all 32 teams. I saw our film where he had showed of us, and Brother Ross, he was, he's right about the linemen on the left side and all of that, because the tight ends was on that left side blocking all day.
Yeah,
that's where TP got most of his yards from.
Well, he got 60 of it on one play and 13 personnel.
Yeah, and that happened right in front of me. That long run, and they was tearing that left side up. And you may want to get with Tom Grazzi leading up to the game next week too. Have you thought about collab with?
Yeah, that would be
with
interesting.
him.
Yeah, we can try, but he's up here. I'm down here. He's like you a flea. But yeah, we'll maybe we'll reach out after the game this weekend. After they play tomorrow, reach out Monday or so. All right. So I want everybody to remember.
We them boys. Remember that. We them boys. Remember.
And we're going to get ready to roll up on out of here. I appreciate everybody being here. Roz, I hope you have a better day, and I hope the chickens come home to roost. And be sure to check out Prime Time and Game Time. They'll be on in about 45 minutes or so. I'm going to go up here, and I'm going to cook me some chicken on the grill. No offense, Roz.
Tell them the channel there, Mark.
Prime Time. Prime Time Phil. Prime Time Studios, Prime Time Phil.
No, that's what I'm saying. Just to make sure, so anybody who hasn't seen it before can go find it.
Yeah, Primetime Phil. Definitely check him out. Like I said, they're going to be roasting an eagle. And I'm going to go up here and cook some chickens. And Ross is going to try and wrangle his chickens and get them back in the coop.